How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the Crypto Unveiled YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about a crypto which has gone absolutely ballistic in the last month. This is of course going to be Render, or RNDR for short. Before we do hop straight into the video though, of course I'd like to say this is not financial advice, guys, so make sure you go out and do your own research and come to your own conclusion before investing into any coins or tokens I mention in my videos. With that out of the way, let's get straight back into the video. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking all about a crypto called Render. If you've been a subscriber on the channel for a while now, you know that in the past, I believe I posted a video around a month and a half ago. I actually uploaded a video about Render, talking about Render and talking about how I believe Render is going to be doing extremely well in the future. And I believe that this has actually come true because we have had some very, very big news about Render. Literally in the last few days, huge news has come out about Render, and Render has been pumping very, very heavily, increasing in a very positive way. Before we actually get into the actual news and what actually is Render, let's first go ahead and look at the charts and look at how well Render has actually been doing in the last sort of 7 days, months, years, etc. So you can see over the last day alone, Render is actually pumped up just over 5% just in the last day alone. You can see it's continuing to pump up as we speak. Over the last 7 days, you can see how crazy the pump up has actually been over the last 7 days. Over 46%, guys, up in the last 7 days alone. If we switch to the monthly chart, you will see that it doesn't look as good because is sort of sitting at around similar that it was around a month ago, because it did actually have a little bit of a dip down in a negative way. You can see actually dipped all the way down to its lowest point in the last month was around $9.50, which is not a huge dip, but it of course did have that little bit of a dip there. So this huge come up that Render has had is not as good as it might seem on the surface. However, I do believe that Render is going to be pumping up way more than this. I believe that it's going to continue to pump up in the future, and I believe that we're only just getting started with Render, especially how the news has only recently just come out. I believe once this news develops even further, more people start to know about Render and realize how much potential Render actually does have in the future. I believe that Render is going to continue to pump up and surpass way up above what it hit in the last month. Switch to the yearly chart here, you can see once again this does push a bit more of a stronger narrative about how much potential Render does actually have. You can see up over just around 480%, guys, just in the last year alone. And you will see actually Render has had quite a few big spikes in the past, but I really do believe that with this huge news that's come out, I believe that Render is now going to surpass all the all-time highs that it hit in the past. And I really do believe that we're going to hit an all-time high very, very soon with Render. So now let's actually jump into, I will get onto the news about Render, I promise, but let's first talk about Render and what actually is, what's its main goal, and why so many people are bullish about Render, of course, including myself. So one of the main things that you're greeted with when you go onto the Render website, you can come onto rendernetwork.com if you want to come check out the website for yourself, upgrade to Solana. So you can see they're already beginning to upgrade their network onto the Solana network, which is, of course, we've seen this in the past with other cryptos such as Helium. They are upgrading to Solana, so Render to upgrade to Solana. I believe that this is also a very positive thing, and this is only going to help push the Render network to make it even stronger and push it even higher in price and market cap in the future as well. So Render is all about distributed GPU rendering on the blockchain. So basically think of it similar to how Flux works. It has like cloud computing. Render is very similar to that, but it's all about basically, like the name says, cloud rendering using GPUs, which I'm sure they have in servers, and basically you can access this GPU power, and so you can be able to render all these different things which your programs need. Basically access it through the cloud. So it's incredibly cool to see. If we scroll down here, I believe it talks a little bit more about Render. The Render network provides near unlimited decentralized GPU computing power for the next generation of 3D content creation. So yeah, basically, as the name says, Render is all about rendering, and it's basically using GPUs through the cloud for the next generation of 3D content creation. And so let's now actually hop on to the main part of this video and what actually is this huge news that has come out about render and why this is actually the main reason why render has been pumping so hard over the last week. This huge news is because Apple has actually started using the render network, guys. Absolutely massive news. I cannot stress how massive this news actually is. Of course, you guys know Apple is $1 trillion company, guys. Basically one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest company in the world. They will actually be using render on their different, their iPads or their iPhones, all these different things. So this is absolutely huge news for render, and as I said earlier on in the video, this is only recent news that has come out. So I believe as more and more people will, find out about Apple using render, and this story just develops more and more and more, I believe the render is going to continue to pump up in price and hopefully surpass an all-time high. So what is my personal price prediction for render? I believe in my last video for render, I believe I said around 2 to 3x, which, yes, I believe that was definitely conservative. 100%. I know I got a lot of comments on that video saying, that is very conservative, only a 2x. But a lot of times when I do price predictions, I like to keep it on the conservative side. Although a lot of coins which I say on this channel I am bullish about, I oftentimes like to keep it conservative just for the fact that I don't like to basically like overdo it and say, oh, this coin is going to hit 100x when realistically that is going to take a long time, or it might not happen at all. So with render, and the last video I said around 2 to 3x, I believe that render's price prediction now, I can actually up this price prediction. I believe that render in the next sort of around the year to 2 years, I believe that we can easily hit around a 7x market cap from what it is currently. You can see the reason I say 7x and not a lot higher is because the market cap for render is already very well established. You can see it's got over $4.2 billion in the market cap already. So, in order to see any sort of big amount of gains for render, you need a hell of a lot of money pumped into the market. And of course, I'm not saying that it's over and you're too late for render, because of course a $4.2 billion market cap, although it is very well established, if we go up and look at a bigger coins such as Ethereum or Bitcoin, you start to realize that this market cap that render is on is still relatively small compared to these other big altcoins and big coins such as Bitcoin, which of course the number one. You can see Bitcoin's at $1.2 trillion market cap and Ethereum's at $361 billion market cap. And so if you compare that to render, you start to realize that render is still relatively small compared to these coins. However, like I said, I believe a 7x is sort of a realistic goal for render, maybe pushing up towards the 10x maybe, just from the fact that it is a bit of a well-established market cap right now. However, you're not late to render. I believe if you invest now, of course not financial advice, but if you invest now, then you're still early into render, because people are still learning about Apple using render, and when the actual the new iPads or iPhones actually come out with render already installed on it, I believe that render is going to have another huge pump up in price as well. So yeah, I believe my personal price prediction around 7x, but of course there'll be lots of people out there saying this is very conservative. They believe that render can do way more, which I believe, of course I'm not saying that this is not possible. I 100% hope that this is true. I hope that we see 10, 20, 30, 40x for render. However, I believe that is going to be a lot harder in the future, within a 1 to 2 year time period. So apart from that, guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Of course, let me know what you think about render in the comment section down below. Have you already invested, or are you going to invest into render? Let me know. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you are new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button as well. Apart from that, I'll see you guys in the very next video. Peace.